Well, that was certainly an interesting start to this Dáil term, wasn't it? Wednesday, January 22nd, saw Dáil Éireann thrown into chaos, suspended multiple times, and no Taoiseach elected, which was pretty much the only thing they had to do before they could swan off on yet more holidays. Poor Michaél had to wait to be elected until the next day, as new Ceann Comhairle Verona Murphy found herself in a situation akin to a substitute teacher with no control over or respect from the classroom. The whole day was an embarrassing shambles. It was nothing short of farcical and an affront to democracy in my view. And no, it's not because Michaél Martin didn't get to be nominated and elected. If you genuinely believe that the farce was the cause of the opposition, you are very much mistaken. And don't let Michaél fool you into thinking that no Taoiseach being elected is a subversion of the Irish Constitution, or that it's the first time in over 100 years that the Dáil has failed to elect a government. That's just nonsense, and yet another lie from the man who can't seem to help himself. He was there in 2016 when the Dáil failed to elect a Taoiseach on 3 occasions. As I said, just more lies. But yeah, if you're blaming the opposition for what happened in the Dáil on Wednesday, I'd humbly suggest you get your moral compass checked. The only ones responsible for the chaos we saw were our new government, who were trying to pull an outrageous fast one, having stacked the deck in their favour once again. An onside Ceann Comhairle, and the knowledge that our electorate voted them back in, despite everything, has clearly led Fianna, Fáil and Fine Gael to feel untouchable. As I said in my last video, they don't even have to pretend they care about the optics of anything they try anymore, since they've just been given a free pass by the electorate to do whatever the they like.
Watch your profanity.
They are emboldened, but luckily we got to see a united opposition bring them crashing back to reality. This was absolutely a stroke too far. So to quickly recap so everyone can understand just what it was that FFG and their independents tried, the regional independent group who formally negotiated and agreed the programme for government wanted to have their cake and eat it too, by having those members of their group who did not get a seat on the gravy train sitting on opposition benches despite, by any metric, being members of government. That's right, members of government wanted to sit on opposition benches and play pantomime while taking away speaking time from the genuine opposition. It's unbridled greed and brass necks all round. Originally, there were 8 members of this regional independent group: Sean Canny, Marion Harkin, Barry Heneghan, Noel Grealish, Michael Lowry, Kevin Boxer-Moran, Verona Murphy and Gillian Toole. Verona Murphy, of course, landed the ultimate prize of the role of Ceann Comhairle after Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael cleared a path and directed their members to vote for her. The 7 remaining original members negotiated with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael as a group, and the deal was approved by those 7 members. The deal saw Sean Canny and Noel Grealish given a super junior ministry each, while Marion Harkin and Kevin Boxer-Moran will hold junior ministerial roles. That left Michael Lowry, Barry Heneghan and Gillian Toole. When the news broke of the deal being done on the programme for government, the Irish Times article indicated that the 3 who did not receive roles would be left as backbenchers in the independent group. The next day, this video appeared on the Irish Times website.
I'm delighted that our group has been recognised in a very tangible way and in a practical way. And at the outset I stated clearly that we would function as a group, that we would act as a group, that we would negotiate as a group. And as part of that negotiation we also said that we had to be working within government, not from the outside. And for us, obviously, it's important that we're able to ensure that our parts of the programme that are important to us are implemented over the lifetime, over the 5 years of this government. We're in this for 5 years, we're in it to deliver 5 budgets. We're a strong, we're a cohesive, we're a united group, and we intend to deliver for the people of Ireland on the issues that are important.
Now, after watching that, how can anyone legitimately claim that those 7 members are not in government? Michael Lowry was at pains to stress how they worked as a group. He said they had to work within government, not from the outside, and how they are in it for 5 budgets. I mean, what sort of mental gymnastics do you have to engage in to think that Lowry, Heneghan and Toole should be allowed to sit on opposition benches? It's just utterly farcical. It's a slap in the face to the spirit of democracy, and it's not at all like the confidence and supply agreement between Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil in 2016, whereby Fianna Fáil abstained on confidence and supply votes, but reserved the right to vote for or against any bill proposed in the Dáil or Seanad. This group of independents negotiated together and formally agreed the programme for government. They will support the government. They are in government. It's as simple as that. And yet, the new Ceann Comhairle felt it was a-okay to allow those 3 to sit on opposition benches. And let's not forget Danny Healy-Rae in all of this. He and his brother Michael also negotiated the programme for government, with their loyalty bought with a junior ministry position for Michael. And yet, Danny also thinks, despite the pair of them supporting the programme for government, that he can also sit on opposition benches alongside Lowry and the rest. Now, 5 are needed in a grouping to allow for speaking time, so they needed at least 1 more to speak in the Dáil. Aontú's 2 TDs, an independent Carol Nolan, were already in the regional independent group but did not take part in government negotiations, and Matty McGrath joined the group on January 21st, so that makes 8. Aontú staunchly defended their stance to stay in the group to retain their own speaking rights, because I guess that's all that matters really. Ethics and morals be damned. They finally saw sense on the day of all the commotion and decided to join with another technical group, which really just begs the question why they didn't just do that in the first place instead of making an absolute show of themselves. So the group had enough members, and so the chaos ensued. Opposition parties had flagged this in advance after new Ceann Comhairle Verona Murphy told them on January 17th that she would recognise the grouping and allow them speaking time. So this was not without warning. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Verona Murphy and the independent group at the heart of this issue all knew exactly what game they were playing. They knew exactly what they were doing, and I think they very much underestimated just how far the opposition would go to fight this absolute farcical arrangement whereby members of government could be facilitated to sit on opposition benches and take speaking time away from the true opposition. Again, this was not about stopping Michaél Martin from becoming Taoiseach, and anyone who claims it was is lying, simple as. This was always about government TDs wanting to play pantomime and sit on opposition benches. Michaél Martin said what happened on Wednesday was a subversion of the Constitution. No, Michaél, it was an attempt to subvert democracy by you and your new buddy Michael Lowry. It was certainly refreshing to see the opposition resolutely stand together to push back against this absolute farce. For a long time now, I've been hearing people say that we don't have a real opposition, and well, after Wednesday, I'm sure those who've been saying that must surely be happy. It was exactly what we need to see from opposition, and I genuinely hope that the opposition retain that sort of determination going forward, because we absolutely need it. The opposition refused to be silenced and won the battle, and Verona Murphy backed down with a temporary resolution to not allow the group to speak during the 2 Dáil sittings, while the Reform Committee met on Friday to try to find a permanent solution. However, the problem remains, as Michael Lowry has been digging his heels in apparently, and has been explicitly saying that his group being allowed to sit on and speak from opposition benches was part of the deal made with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Despite senior sources from both parties denying this, it's hard to look past the idea that the puppet master has spoken and Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are expected to dance to his tune. So on it goes. I'm sure this story will rumble on, and I can only hope the opposition remains steadfast in their refusal to accept this mockery of democracy. One has to wonder how easily this all could have been avoided if the findings of the Moriarty Tribunal had been acted on in the first place. So what do you think? Do you think Michael Lowry and his pals should be granted speaking rights from opposition benches? Who do you think is to blame for the clown show we saw on Wednesday? Do you believe our new Ceann Comhairle can be fair and unbiased? Do you think this government will last the full term? And what are your thoughts on Michael Lowry? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of new content. If you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee or a super thanks, which is greatly appreciated, and a huge thank you to those that already have. You can also follow me on Twitter. Until next time, slán go fóill.